The women featured in 50 Cent's upcoming documentary on T.I. have just come forward with new testimony, and the details they're revealing are chilling, beyond what will appear in the documentary. These accounts expose shocking allegations that could put T.I. behind bars for life. What started as a surprise rap beef has now turned into a storm no one can ignore. Let's break down what these women said, how 50 Cent is using it in his documentary, and why this could change everything for the Harris family. In January 2021, a woman named Sabrina Peterson changed everything for T and Tiny Harris. Peterson, a former friend of the couple, alleged that T threatened to kill her and held a gun to her head during an incident in 2009. She posted about the alleged assault on her Instagram account. And what happened next is what made the situation spiral out of control. Within 2 months after she shared the allegations, over 30 women and one man came forward with accusations that the Atlanta rapper and his wife drugged, kidnapped, intimidated, and sexually assaulted them. In California and Georgia, that number is not a typo. Over 30 women and one man, all coming forward within weeks of each other, all telling stories that, according to the attorney representing them, followed a pattern. Attorney Tyrone A. Blackburn said he had been contacted by more than 30 women, survivors, and witnesses regarding claims against the couple. At a press conference, Blackburn reiterated his statement that he had reached out to prosecutors in Georgia and California to look into the alleged incidents. The scope of these allegations was staggering. Blackburn said in a press release, there are allegations of forced drugging, kidnapping, rape, and intimidation in at least 2 states. He said the allegations spanned 15 years, and some alleged incidents allegedly involved the couple. Others allegedly involved unnamed members of their inner circle. Sabrina Peterson told The Sun exclusively that more than 100 women had contacted her with sexual misconduct, allegations against Grammy Award-winning rapper T and his wife Tiny. She said the volume of responses she received was something she did not expect. She described one event where at one birthday party alone, there were reportedly 31 women present. She said she was not surprised by the number of women, but she was surprised by the way they described being manipulated. Peterson described what these women told her. She said she knew the couple liked to party with multiple women, but claimed she had no idea it had got so dark. One of the women who came forward publicly was a military veteran. T and his wife, Tiny Harris, faced a civil lawsuit that claimed they drugged and sexually assaulted a woman they met in a Los Angeles nightclub in 2005. In the complaint, lawyers for a Jane Doe accuser said T and Tiny gave her a spiked drink after she was introduced to them in the VIP section of a club, then brought her back to their hotel room, where they forced her to get naked and assaulted her. Attorneys for the accuser, who they said was in her early 20s and serving in the U.S. Air Force at the time, claimed she was introduced to the couple by an associate named Caviar. Midway through the alleged incident, after she allegedly drank a beverage offered by Tiny, she began to feel extremely dizzy and lightheaded and later passed out. Another accuser, identified as Michelle Jinks, filed a report with Las Vegas police. Jinks alleged that T took her ID and forced her to travel to Florida against her own wishes. She described being forced to have sex with multiple women that she did not know. Jensen stated that as a result of the drugging, sexual assaults, and trafficking, her life has never been the same. The attorney who represented 11 of these women laid out his findings in letters to authorities in both Georgia and California. His statement described 15 years of methodical sadistic abuse against women in various venues throughout the country. He described a pattern where women prior to or upon immediately entering the Harris's home, hotel, or tour bus were coerced by Tiny to ingest drugs or unknowingly administer drugs to impair the victim's ability to consent. Now, to be clear, T.I. and Tiny have repeatedly denied the allegations. T posted a now viral video on Instagram in which he addressed the accusations directly. He said, "Whatever we ever have done has been done with consensual adults who into what we into and like what we like. We ain't never forced nobody. We ain't never drugged nobody against their will. We ain't never held nobody against their will. We never made nobody do anything. We never trafficked anything. I ain't ever raped nobody." That is where the story. Dozens of women, a couple denying it all, law enforcement looking into the claims. And for years, the story sat mostly in the background until 50 Cent pulled it back to the front page. The thing about 50 Cent is that he has never been the type to let a beef stay on the level where it started. He always escalates, and this time was no different. The current chapter of this beef traces back to T publicly challenging 50 Cent to a versus battle where two artists go song for song in front of a live audience. T claims 50 had previously agreed to it. 50 denied it, played dumb, and then publicly clowned him for making the announcement. T and 50 Cent's feud was reignited during Super Bowl weekend, when Tip called out 50 for ducking him in a Veru battle while talking to Nightcap, and then again a few weeks later during an interview with $1 million worth of game. T.I. was not quiet about his frustration. He told the $1 million worth of game podcast, "We talked about this. We said what we were going to do. When I jumped out there, he act like he ain't know what the FK was going on." He added, "Just say you don't want to do it. All this other extra lame-ass underscore man. This underscore." But instead of agreeing to the battle or even responding with a diss track, 50 Cent turned to his favorite weapon, social media trolling. Fifth posted 2 photos to his Instagram account. The first, a rather unflattering photo of T.I.'s wife, Tiny Harris, alongside the caption, "Keep my name out your mouth." In a second post, he compared T.I.'s son, King Harris, to Pepe the Frog. That is what blew the lid off. The moment 50 Cent brought Tiny and King Harris into it, the entire situation changed. But the biggest move was still ahead. 50 Cent addressed a rumor that he's working on a documentary about T and Tama Tiny Harris's sexual assault allegations. On Thursday morning, March 5th, the rapper-filmmaker posted a screenshot of an article that claimed he was developing a documentary tentatively titled Surviving T and Tiny. The program would reportedly cover the allegations of rape and sexual misconduct that numerous women have lodged against the prominent couple, although no official announcements have been made. Fifth alluded to the possibility that he already put the plan in motion. His caption was pointed. 50 Cent wrote, "Remember how quiet I got before the Diddy doc? Dame thought I wasn't coming. I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to ask about your 20 sexual assault cases. You might want to talk to a crisis PR person." That reference to the Diddy documentary is significant. 50 Cent Executive produced a Netflix docu-series on Sean Combs that aired in late 2025, a project that many in hip-hop credit with accelerating Diddy's public downfall. The implication is unmistakable. 50 is claiming he has done this before, and he is prepared to do it again. The timing was calculated. T.I. is currently gearing up for the release of his final album, Kill the King, a documentary examining allegations tied to him and Tiny, regardless of how those allegations have fared legally, would be devastating counter-programming. Now, whether this documentary is real or just a threat remains an open question. It is unconfirmed. 50 Cent shared a headline suggesting the documentary is in development in a since-deleted Instagram post and used his caption to lean into the threat, but no official announcement has been made. Given 50's history of using social media to troll before following through on projects, both possibilities remain on the table. Analysts note this feud marks a shift in rap conflicts, moving from diss tracks to documentaries and legal threats, and that shift changes the stakes entirely. The story about how this documentary rumor first surfaced is also worth noting. Speculative rumors about this documentary involved Tasha K, who claimed she spoke to alleged sources reportedly connected to 50 Cent's team. There was no official confirmation from either side, but fans noted it made sense given 50 Cent's previous documentary work. He got a lot of attention for executive producing the Diddy docu series Sean Combs, The Reckoning on Netflix. The message from 50 Cent was clear. You can come at me with diss tracks all day, but I fight on a different level. The question now was, how would T.I. respond? If 50 Cent thought that his trolling was going to silence the Harris family, he was wrong. In fact, it did the opposite. It brought the whole family into the fight. The much-publicized back and forth between the two rappers took over timelines in February when the Harris family T.I. and sons Domini and King released a slew of diss tracks aimed at 50. T started releasing music at a rate nobody expected. He dropped multiple disc records in quick succession with the right one drawing the most attention. On that track, T went personal, deeply personal. T went extremely personal, bringing up 50's late mother and his baby mama, Daphne Joy, who became notable for her later connection to Diddy. But the real wild card in this whole situation was King Harris. 50 Cent and T.I.'s social back and forth sparked a new beef between 50 and Tip's son, King Harris, after the mogul shared a controversial photo of T.I.'s wife, Tiny Harris, which prompted King to troll 50. Mentioning the mogul's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, King did not hold back. He posted an Instagram photo that included a tombstone engraved with 50 Cent's mother's name and lifespan. The explicit caption read, "Fuck your _ A's and dig up your mama." In a series of Instagram stories, King went further. He said, "No, post my mama like your mama ain't dead as _ go put some flowers on that _ grave." Now, I end up posting my mama. My mama is a _ legend. Your mama is a _ Jake. King Harris took to Instagram in defense of his mother, with several posts pointing out 50's prior beefs, the aftermath of his 2000 shooting, previous accusations of domestic violence, and more. He was pulling out everything he could find about 50 Cent's personal history. King reshared posts, including an alleged photo of a young Curtis Jackson holding up a drawing. He wrote, "How much for this pic of 50 Cent? And you are a great artist, Lil 66A, look just like Miss Jackson." Now, 50 Cent has laughed off King Harris's remarks about Sabrina Jackson, posting a loyal caption alongside a photo of a popular cartoon frog meme. That is classic 50. No anger, no reaction, just trolling. And that is what makes him so dangerous in a beef. Over the past couple of weeks, Tip had targeted 50 Cent in several diss tracks after the New York rapper declined to face him in a versus battle. After dropping 3 disc records over the course of several days, his sons King Harris and many also joined in and dropped their own songs aimed at Fifth. But here is where T.I. himself admitted that things went too far. During a sit-down with the host of the Abro Laura Rosenberg show, T reflected on his son's disses to 50 Cent. "No, I don't enjoy it," said T in response to a question about if his kids' responses were enjoyable. "I spent so much time trying to get this little nah off the ledge. Now, he has justifiable means to undo all the teaching that I've been teaching." T then expressed we thought King went too far. I said, "That's enough when I seen that T-shirt," said the rapper, referring to King wearing a shirt with 50 Cent's deceased mother on it. "I'm big on treating people the way I want to be treated." Still, T made it clear that he was proud his son stood up for their mother. He said, "Logical, reasonable, and not to be emotional. The one thing that I am proud of this is that the women and children in our families see that it's a line of men that's here against the FK ever," he added. "I'm here to defend. I'm here to protect what's ours. I die in the streets about this _ here." Meanwhile, 50 Cent refused to rap back despite Tip's best efforts to lure him into the ring for a full-fledged rap battle. 50 Cent made it clear that he has no intention of hopping back into booth alongside a fake stupid ass _ award certificate that he posted on Instagram. The Power Mogul wrote, "Goes to old rappers still trying to battle rap. Chat GPT told me that. I don't need me to rap. You need me to rap. LOL, get the FBCK off my page." T.I. responded to the documentary threat heated. He dismissed the approach as bullying and challenged 50 Cent to a doc for doc showdown. T wrote on Instagram, "We can go bar for bar, hit for hit, or doc for doc. Either way, all you're going to do is show how much of a thing you is." T frames the documentary as an attempt to remain relevant rather than deliver justice. That is his position. But 50 Cent appears to see it differently. He sees it as leverage. Now, here is where we have to look at the facts. What actually happened in the legal system with all of these allegations against T and Tiny, because the picture is more complicated than either side want to acknowledge. The Los Angeles Police Department began an investigation into sexual assault allegations against the couple in 2021, but declined to bring charges due to the statute of limitations of a sexual assault incident in 2010 involving the couple. That case was also closed because it was reported outside the statute of limitations. So, the authorities looked into it. In both cases, the outcome was the same. Statute of limitations, not a finding of innocence, not a finding of guilt, just a legal determination that too much time had passed. The civil lawsuit from the Jane Doe military veteran had a similar outcome. A judge dismissed a sexual assault lawsuit filed against T and his wife, Tiny Harris, after the pair's Jane Doe accuser failed to respond to the couple's motion to dismiss the case in a timely manner. In her order, the judge wrote that after the lawsuit was filed, T and Tiny put forth two challenges: that it was barred by the statute of limitations and that the woman failed to provide sufficient factual allegations. However, the judge left the door open for the woman to file an amended complaint. Within 21 days, the Sabrina Peterson situation was also resolved, but not in the way many expected. Peterson appeared in a Los Angeles courtroom and testified under oath that she didn't mean to defy multiple court orders when she previously failed to pay more than $96,000 in attorney's fees to T.I. and Tiny. Peterson said she simply couldn't afford to cover the couple's legal bill. Rolling Stone reports that Los Angeles County Judge Michael Schultz dismissed Sabrina Peterson's lawsuit, pointing to Peterson's failure to pay $96,000 in attorney fees. The couple's errung friend also escaped jail time after being held in contempt of court. And there was more. T filed his own federal lawsuit against Peterson, claiming that she falsely stated in a series of Instagram posts that he was under federal investigation for sexual trafficking of women in connection with an unidentified celebrity already facing prosecution. The lawsuit states Peterson published these statements knowing they were false. The majority of related lawsuits have been dismissed in court. No criminal charges have been filed now. T.I. and Tiny's attorney Steve Satt has been consistent from the start. Cito issued a statement saying Clifford, T. and Tama Harris deny in the strongest possible terms these unsubstantiated and baseless allegations. We are confident that if these claims are thoroughly and fairly investigated, no charges will be forthcoming. These allegations are nothing more than the continuation of a sordid shakedown campaign that began on social media. The couple themselves responded as well in a statement. They wrote, "For 3 years, we have emphatically and categorically denied these allegations. For 3 years, we have maintained our innocence and refused to pay these extortionate demands for things we didn't do. For 3 years, we've maintained the same position, while the claims in this story have changed time and time again. Our position is clear. We are innocent of these fake claims. We will not be shaken down, and we look forward to our day in court." The deluge of allegations did lead MTV Entertainment to pull the plug on the couple's VH1 reality series T.I. and Tiny Friends and Family Hustle. So, while the courts may have dismissed cases for procedural or statute of limitations reasons, the allegations did have real consequences for the couple's careers. And that is exactly the territory 50 Cent is now threatening to revisit with a documentary. The question is not whether courts found T and Tiny guilty. They did not. The question is whether these women's stories deserve to be heard on a larger platform. That is the argument 50C appears to be making, and that is the argument T.I. is pushing back against. So where does all of this leave us? We have a rap beef between two of the biggest names of their generation. We have over 30 women who made allegations that span more than a decade. We have court cases that have largely been dismissed on procedural grounds. And we have a man in 50 Cent who has already demonstrated with the Diddy documentary that he is willing to use his media platform to bring allegations into the public eye on a scale that social media alone cannot achieve. 50 Cent's caption referenced Sean Combs' A Reckoning, the docu-series about allegations against Diddy that listed 50 Cent as an executive producer. That project marked one of the rapper's most visible moves into documentary storytelling. He targeted his last enemy, Sean Diddy Combs, in his recent Netflix docu-series, The Reckoning. The 4-part series covered Combs' life before and after he was buried under numerous sexual assault lawsuits. Combs' legal team responded by sending a cease and desist to Netflix and 50 Cent. However, they've yet to take it down. That is the playbook. 50 Cent makes a documentary. The subject of that documentary fights back. But the documentary is already out there, and it is already shaping public opinion. That is exactly what T.I. fears, and that is exactly why the situation has escalated the way it has. This rap feud took a different turn. 50 Cent and T have been going back and forth online for weeks. It escalated after 50 publicly called T a snitch, bringing up old hip-hop debates. T denied it and pushed back hard. Things got more personal when 50 posted unflattering images of Tiny and T.I.'s family stepped in to defend her. The beef between these two goes back to 2007. The two first clashed in 2007 when 50 Cent called the rapper a snitch. They continued to trade subliminal shots for years, and by 2020 T.I. was pushing for them to get involved in a Verzu battle that he was confident he would win. But this is no longer about who has more hits. This is no longer about who would win a verse. This is about whether 50 Cent will take the stories of these women, stories that have been floating in the public since 2021, and package them into a documentary that could define T.I.'s legacy. In the same way that the Diddy documentary has shaped the conversation around Sean Combs, the possible documentary only adds more heat to the long-running tension between the two rappers. Their back and forth has been bubbling for years, but it recently boiled over again when T.I. challenged 50 Cent to a Versus battle. Meanwhile, T.I. is trying to focus on his music. Let Him Know is part of T.I.'s retirement album, Kill the King, and is currently #1 at Urban Radio and on several charts. He has tried to frame this moment as his victory lap. But 50 Cent is trying to make sure that the conversation around T.I.'s retirement is not about his music. It is about these allegations. Analysts note this feud marks a shift in rap conflicts, moving from diss tracks to documentaries and legal threats. While 50 Cent has seen success with true crime media projects like Hip Hop Homicide, T.I. maintains the allegations against him are false. T spoke on the Ebro show about his philosophy in all of this. He said, "I'm real big on treating other people the way I want to be treated. And I'm also real big on treating mothers the _ way they decided they're going to treat me." He added, "And ultimately all the quietness that we're witnessing right now from Dude 50 Cent. What would have happened if that quietness was practiced at the beginning? Absolutely nothing. We wouldn't be here." That last line is worth sitting with. T.I. is saying this entire situation exists because 50 Cent chose to go with his family. And now the fallout includes the possibility of a documentary, viral memes of his wife and son, and a national conversation about allegations that courts have not substantiated. One perspective is that this alleged documentary would face legal scrutiny, considering the lack of legal success from the couple's accusers. There are also 50's own past allegations to consider. The other perspective is that legal outcomes do not erase the experiences these women described. Over 30 women told stories that, in the words of their attorney, described a pattern where the courts could hold T.I. and Tiny accountable or not. Those stories exist, and if 50 Cent puts them on screen, they will reach an audience that Instagram posts and press conferences never did. If this documentary moves forward, this feud won't just stay on social media. It could shift to streaming platforms. And that changes the conversation completely. For now, nothing is confirmed. 50 Cent has not officially announced the documentary. T and Tiny continue to deny all allegations. The women who came forward in 2021 have largely faded from the headlines. But 50 Cent has a history of making noise before going quiet and then delivering exactly what he promised. He did it with the Diddy Do. The question is whether he does it again with T and Tiny. What we know for certain is this. The women who spoke up in 2021 told stories about drugging, coercion, and assault. Those stories were investigated by police, but never resulted in criminal charges. The civil lawsuits were dismissed on procedural grounds, and now one of the most powerful producers in hip-hop entertainment is threatening to give those stories a platform that could reach millions. Whether you see that as justice, revenge, or just contempt, that is for you to decide. But one thing is clear, this is no longer just a rap beef, and the women at the center of it may finally get to tell their stories again, this time to a much bigger audience.